Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at some advanced myofascial release, self-myofascial release techniques using our good friends, the tennis balls. Now, a couple of notes about this. These are exercises that you'd start to get into once you're used to using something a bit more gentle and a bit more general, like a foam roller. So if you haven't gotten into your foam roller work yet, can you scroll back through the videos and go to Release Me parts 1 and 2. Work on that and then come back to me with your tennis balls. Okay, so for now, we're going to start with just the one tennis ball. We're going to sit on our bottoms and we're going to stretch out the legs. So we've already worked on the calves with our roller at some point. We know that there are some really sticky bits in there. We're going to simply take the ball and place it into the part that we knew we could felt was tense. Okay. So once you're here, you can just gently move the leg around. Once you find a spot that you like the feel of, or don't like the feel of more accurately, you can wait on that point. Now you can then start to very slowly flex the ankle, activating the quads to pull the toe towards the knee, which is going to stretch the muscle over the ball. And it's quite a nice intense tack and stretch. Feel free to hold your leg still just to give it some balance. Okay, so we'll do a few more of these. All of the techniques I'm going to show you during this video, I'm just going to do a few of them and then leave you to pause the video if you want to carry on and continue to work on those points. So I'm going to move on. Feel free to continue as you are if you wish. I'm going to take the ball a little bit higher and towards the hip. So we'll come down onto the elbows now and we're going to start with piriformis. We'll cross the closest leg to me over the ankle. Piriformis is located just to the side of the thigh bone, so we're going to trace a line down the thigh bone right to the bottom, and then we can feel the end of the thigh bone. Once we're there, we're going to roll away just a little bit, place the ball just at that point, and then slowly roll back into it. Now, it might be a little bit of trial and error. You're looking for a point that feels really strong. I mean, this is a really, really, really strong one. So you'll get to that point. We'll hold it there. We'll give the muscle an opportunity to relax a little bit. When you're ready to, we can start to bring the knee towards the chest. That changes the shape of the muscle over the ball and gives it a really deep release. The nice thing about these sorts of movements is that because we're keeping the exercise dynamic, we're not just holding the position for a really long time. It's just a bit safer for the muscle. Okay. So this is our little piriformis release, just the outside part of the piriformis. We're going to change what we're doing now and move on if you're ready to. And we're going to lie down on the back, head resting on the floor. We're going to lift the hips and have a feel with the fingers and locate the sacrum. So it's that big flat piece of bone at the base of your spine. I'm going to give you a closer up visual of this now, just so that we know where we are. Spine comes down to here. The little arch in your back is here. Below that you can feel a nice, wide, bony structure. And then to the outsides of that, you've got the beginnings of the glutes. All right, so we're on our back. We remember where we had the ball last time. We're going to trace a line around, so we're still just on the glutes. And then we're going to roll into the ball. Oh, just there. Again, it might take a couple of times to find the spot that we're really looking for. When you get it, it feels absolutely great. Now we can go back to our movement with the leg, cross the leg over again. And then again, rotate at the hip joint to change the shape of the muscle. And give it a deep, deep, deep release. So what is this good for? This release is great if you're having a lower back episode. Issues in the pelvis and hips will often, you often see them and feel them in the lower back. So great for this. Also really good for helping with pelvic stability as well. All right, so I'm going to take myself off the ball. Feel free to pause the video if you want to. Now, let's come up a little bit higher we're going to take the ball and it's going to sit just in the lower back. And I'm going to show you a close-up now of where I mean. So I'm going to trace a line around the top of my hip. You can feel that you come down and into the lower back here. Trace that line around. The ball is going to sit to the side of the spine, to the top of the hip, in this little space here. Okay? We don't want it too close to the spine. We want to make sure that we're behaving in a safe and responsible manner. Again, we're going to roll away from the ball so that when we roll back into it, we're not just plonking ourselves down on it, we're gradually increasing the pressure as we feel confident, safe and happy. I'm just on the best spot right now, it's amazing. Okay, but again, it's trial and error. We can move the ball a little bit north, a little bit south. We're using a tennis ball because it's got a lot of give, so we know we're not going to just slam into a nerve and create damage. And all of these techniques I'm showing you just on the one side, but of course try them on both sides. Now on the elbows like this, you can get the ball kind of up into the back of the waist with some decent pressure, but you can't really go much further than that. When you do find the spot that you really like, we can stop and hold it. Just going to get onto mine, there we go. Now our little dynamic release for this one is going to be to pick up the leg that's on the same side, slowly bring the knee in towards the chest. You'll feel a change on the ball, and then slowly bring it back again. We can move ever so slightly so that we're in a satisfying position, and then again, a slow, controlled lift, and slowly down. And you can keep repeating that as many times as you wish. Okay, feel free to pause. I'm going to move on. Alrighty, so we're taking the ball up and into the midsection of the back. This is where having two balls is quite handy. We need our foam roller because I missed one out. Oh no, I didn't. We need our foam roller because we're going to use it as a pillow. So once we're down on the back, head on our pillow, one or two, hopefully two balls, we're going to lift the back away from the floor and, make sure you don't lose them, and position the balls either side of your spine. I'm going to give you a close-up of this to show you exactly where I mean. So my first position was just here and here, just to the insides of the shoulder blades, the rhomboids. But you can, once you're there, you can then change the position of the balls to suit yourself. You might want to keep both balls on the back, or you might feel that you really want to pay some attention just to the one side, in which case do what you feel. Now, once we've decided what we're doing with the balls, and by all means take a lot longer than this to find out where you want to position them, feel free to pause. We're going to take the arms, or one arm if you're only using one ball, and we're going to reach the arms up and over the shoulder blades, over the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades pulling apart, the balls are pressing into the muscles, and you're stretching the muscles over them. Now feel free to move each time just a millimetre or so. Exhale, allowing those muscles to stretch over the balls. Okay, so that's one nice gentle technique. Another one here, bring one arm up, the arm on the side of the ball. Then bring the arm across the chest to the other side of the body. And bring it back. Show you that one more time. Now here's another technique. Check out my shoulder. Imagine it's like a locomotive train. We're circling the shoulder towards the ear and down to the floor. Again, really moving those tissues around the ball, getting such a deep release here. It's magical. Okay, feel free to pause, enjoy and play around with this position. I'm going to take my balls away and move on. So I'm going to roll my roller out from underneath the head. I've still got two balls and I'm going to pop them underneath my head, just there. I'm going to show you a close-up. Now, I've had to do my braids myself, so if they don't look that professional, that's why. Not my best job. So the balls are going to go here and here. And if you feel like your balls keep rolling away, don't worry. Put them on a cushion so that they've got something to sit in, and then they should be fine. And my balls are going to roll away, so I'm going to hold mine in position just like this, and that works too. And we're just going to let the neck totally relax. So you've seen me doing this with a foam roller, which is great. Please, I mean, that's much better than not doing it at all. But using these balls like this is so much better. You're going to breathe, and the way you're going to relax and make this more dynamic is actually by using your breath. So we're going to exhale and pretend that we're making a gargling noise. And then gently nod the chin ever so slightly towards the chest. And that will release the muscles that are sitting on the balls. I'll show you that one more time. Sounds silly, but it feels great. Okay, feel free to pause and enjoy yourself there. I shall move on. So now, we're going to come back up to sitting. We're going to start to work our way from the bottom of the body back up through the front and sides. Trick number 1, the ball underneath the arch of the foot. A very simple roll that you may have done before. Very relaxing, very nice for helping to release the muscles in the calf and release tension in the foot. You could do this sitting like this, or you could do it sitting on the sofa, at the kitchen table, or you could do it standing even, so you've got a bit more pressure going through the foot, maybe while you're brushing your teeth each evening, just to release off the foot. Okay, so that's a lovely technique. Now you would have also seen me on the foam roller, rolling out the fibulary group down the side of the leg. That's a kind of weird one, so I'm just going to quickly remind you of that with the foam roller. So it's when we're just like this. Okay, so with the ball now, we'll be in exactly the same position, supporting ourselves on the elbow. It might be an idea to actually find the point of tension with the foam roller first, because it can be a bit tricky to find this one. And then once you have and you know what you're looking for, then we can take the leg onto the ball. Now if you've got decent balance, or maybe the ball is sitting in a cushion, unlike mine, you can rest both legs one on top of the other and then get a little bit more pressure through. Now what's this good for? It's great for flat feet, very good for flat feet. Also, anybody suffering from plantar fasciitis, and also instability of the hip, again, affected largely by the muscles down on this portion of the leg. So feel free to pause and enjoy that one. It's quite a strong one. I'm going to move on. So taking the ball up to the hip, a few lovely points that we can work on here. To begin with, we're going to work on the top of rectus femoris, which is just here. To locate this point, let me show you close up. You're going to find the hip bone. Just below the hip bone is where the hip flexes, and it's the top of that muscle there. Now, when you're working on this, again, we're always going to roll into the ball. It's so much safer, so much more controlled. We're going to take the ball to the point that we want to get to. Once it's there, we can roll our way into it until we're on our elbows. Now, this particular muscle, as you can probably already feel, is kind of slippery. So we want to maneuver ourselves around until we're slap bang on top of it. Okay, there we are. Now, for the purposes of the next bit, I'm actually going to change sides, but please stay where you are. It's just going to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm back into that muscle. Just find it. And there we go. Okay. So we know that the hip flexors, where we are now, control one side of the hip. Therefore, the glutes control the other side. So it makes sense that if one side tightens, the other side has to relax in order to accommodate the movement. So now we're going to just very gently, very, very slowly and very gradually start to engage the glutes, the bum cheek, on that side. And what you're going to feel is the muscle on the front just giving way, just releasing and allowing that ball to sink a little bit deeper. Now if we relax the glutes, feel that we're deeper still, and then we'll switch them on again, nice and slowly. Awesome. So you can keep going like this. Try the other side. Pause the tape. Keep saying that. Pause the video. And if you're coming with me, we're going to roll back onto the side. Okay, so for the next bit, take your foam roller. A cushion will do fine as well. And we're going to pop the roller underneath the bend in the knee. Once we're there, we're going to locate the muscle that we're after by crossing the ankle over the knee. Trace that line down the thigh to the end of the thigh. So that was where piriformis was. We're going to go about an inch higher than that, roll away from the ball, and then roll into the ball with knees bent side by side now. And then let the knees relax onto the roller. Now I've hit jackpot first time, but it might take you 2 or 3 goes to get to the point that you can really feel. But once you get it, you really get it. I'm going to give you a little close-up of the position of the ball. So it's just there. Hip bone is there, the top of the thigh bone is here, so it's not quite in line with the thigh bone, it's just a little bit higher than that. Okay. Alright, so this muscle is a bit of a naughty one from time to time, so it might take you a good 2 or 3 minutes to release it. So I'll let you enjoy that, have a little move around, massaging the ball into the tissue. Good. Okie dokie. So we're going to move to the upper body now. We can take the roller back underneath the head. We're going to roll onto our side, just get some space, and the ball is going to go underneath the back of the shoulder. Now I'm just going to show you how I do this, and I'm going to give you a close-up of my positioning. And into there. Now, close up, it looks like this. This is how the shoulder moves. If you move the shoulder in and out like this, find the muscle that's operating that movement, and that is where your ball goes. Okay. So I'll take myself back to position with you. You're probably well away by now. And for this one, we're going to really use the top hand to support our weight so we can control how much weight goes through the ball. We can change the position of that lower arm once or twice. And then when you get to the bit that you are looking for, hold it there. To make this dynamic, therefore more effective and a little bit more safe, we're going to move the arm, rotating in and out. It's not going far, it's just an inch or so. Now this is a small muscle, it's a delicate muscle, so we want to keep it moving. Don't do more than you need to. You can always come off the ball, have a feel, see where you're at, decide whether you want to do another round or if you're happy with what you've done. For now, I'm going to move on. You can pause if you'd like. So we're back on our side. We're in a similar position here. The ball is going to come much further towards the center, and then we're going to roll into the ball there. So we're getting the very, very high trapezius. I'm going to show you a little close-up of this in just a second. So the ball is positioned just around the top of the rib cage, just above the shoulder blade, where you've got this bulk of muscle here, the top of the trapezius, and we get a lot of tension in there. It's just there. Okay, so once we're in there, how do we make this one a bit more dynamic? So we can take the arm and reach it across the body, and then bring the elbow back down to the floor. So again, just a small movement, just to stretch the muscle over the ball. Very satisfying if you tend to get neck tension. Excellent. Pause it, you pause it, what else have we got to do? See if I can do anything much with this. Okay, next, so we're going to use the ball to release our pecs. Take yourself down and onto your front, and I'm going to show you close up where we're going to position the ball. So you've got a variety of points running underneath the collarbone all the way towards the breastbone, and you can try all of those different points along here. So here we are, we're down on our front, our head is turned to the side, just applying a little pressure. If you feel like you can't get much pressure there, it might be that you're better endowed than I am, or just the shape of your back. You could, again, pop the ball onto either a block or a book or a cushion, and that will elevate it and give you a bit more give, a bit more going on there. So once you've got the ball in a position that you can feel, it's feeling effective, we're going to start to swing that arm on the same side, again winding the tissues up around the ball, really improving this movement, improving our range of movement. You can keep it there for as long as you like. Okay, moving on. So we're going to come back to the two ball situation, and we're going to be releasing off the front of the rib cage. So if you're really well endowed, this may or may not work so well for you, but you can give it a go. I'm going to give you a close-up of where the balls are going to go. So we'll again be on our tummy. The balls can go just underneath the collarbone, and you can work them down the ribs, just seeing how you feel. You want the balls to kind of fit in between the ribs. You'll feel that when you're on your front. So we're here, starting off, perhaps with the hands underneath the forehead. And once you're there, oh, that feels amazing. Once you're there, I can think of a few of my students who are going to absolutely love this. We're going to rock the torso from side to side, between the ribs. Okay. Now to move the balls each time, I'd like you to come off and then take your weight off the balls and then slowly reposition. Each time you come down onto the balls, you want to take it really slowly. If this feels like it's too much, you could put a cushion or a towel underneath, over the top of the balls now, which will just make that a little bit more gentle. Again, repositioning the balls each time. If you're a lady, depending on your situation on the chest, you may only be able to go so far, and we just have to accept that as a price we pay for having... Anyway. Ray's going to have to edit that out. Okay. Now, if we have felt that everything we've just done has been gentle enough on our bodies today, then we can take it one step further. It's not for everybody, this. This time, with both of your balls, instead, stacked one on top of the other, we're going to take the balls onto the breastbone. Make sure that you're using two balls to do this, because one ball will be too much of a direct pressure. So, we're down our front again. Balls one on top of the other. Make sure you look where you're going. Check that you're in the right position. And then ever so gently and gradually, we can just move ourselves onto the ball. Feel free to pad the balls with a towel. Little pressure here. And this one, we're not going to hold very long. It's about a 10, maybe 15-second job. Let's slowly take ourselves off the balls. Wonderful. So, we've learned a few more interesting things to do with tennis balls than simply playing tennis. Enjoy.